It's time for another daily drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and the topic today, naturally, Carolina basketball. March is almost here. In fact, the Tar Heels have no more games left remaining into February. The only scheduled games remaining on the slate for Carolina are in March. So it's time for the Heels to hit their March mode. We are going to discuss that here in this show. 3 reasons UNC fans should be concerned entering March. Tomorrow, we're going to drop 3 reasons Carolina fans should be optimistic entering March. But before we get into it, quick reminder, for just $8.33 a month, you can be a Tar Heel insider as well. That's the price to join our community for a 1-year subscription. First of all, if you didn't know, you should know it's the same price as when I took over this site, August 1st, 2014. So more than 9.5 years ago, we have not raised the price. Think about everything else that skyrocketed in price. We haven't moved our price up. It's the same price, but the cost of business is expensive. So we need more subscribers. Plus, we want to welcome more passionate Carolina fans into our tent so you guys can go on our outstanding message boards and share your thoughts and have dialogue and communicate with so many other outstanding members of our community. Plus, you're going to get access to all of our premium content. A lot of stuff only goes on the boards, never end up in articles, even premium articles. And 98% of our recruiting stuff for football and basketball is premium. And there's a lot of inside information about the basketball program and the football program that we only put on the boards. You don't find it other places. Even the thieves that steal our content, unless they're subscribers, they can't get that stuff. They can't steal it and put it out there. So you have to be a member. It's just $8.33 a month. Like I said, same price over the last almost 10 years since I took over the site. I don't want to raise the prices. We don't want to do that. So the more subscribers we get, you get more content on our video channel here on YouTube, and people get more content on the site, and we don't have to raise prices. Now, Carolina has to raise its game. There's no doubt about it. And there are 3 reasons here we're going to discuss why Carolina fans should be a little bit concerned entering March. As good as the Tar Heels have been, 22-6, 14-3, first place in the ACC, ranked number 9, well positioned to get a number 1 seed, but that doesn't mean things are perfect or even close to it. And that doesn't mean that collectively the team is heading in the right direction at the rate you want going into March. So I'm going to identify 3 reasons people should be a little bit concerned about this team. First of all, their focus entering games has not been lately what it was during the 10-game win streak. During the 10-game win streak, actually all the time, if you've seen me at games or if you've heard me talk about it, I always go down to the court, go along the baseline. I shoot some photos, a couple of video clips, put them out on Twitter. Lately, I've been putting some stuff on our YouTube channel, and I want to get a vibe. A lot of the time, honestly, whatever vibe you get of the team during shoot-around or during warm-ups has no connection to the game. Sometimes it does. A lot of the times it doesn't. But I will say that they appeared a little bit more dialed in pregame and during the 10-game win streak than since. Now, part of that is the grind of the season. There's no doubt about it. Sometimes guys will shave 15 minutes off a warm-up just because it's a little less wear and tear. This time of year, practices are a lot shorter than they are in November and December, because coaches are trying to save wear and tear. I get that. But what I do know, regardless of what pregame tells me, is that there have been games recently where this team was not ready to go. They weren't ready to go against Clemson at home. They weren't ready to go against Miami the other night. I don't think they were ready to go up at Syracuse, something that they acknowledged. So this team has had a get ready issue of late, which was not the case during the 10-game win streak. And that has to change. March is all about focus. And it's even more important, obviously, because the games are more important, but the game slows down a little bit. Mistakes are more magnified, not rotating defensively and allowing that cut for a layup or a dunk, or missing a box out and allowing a putback and then maybe fouling and leading to a conventional 3-point play. Little things like that will cost you more in March than they do in February. There's no doubt about it. So this team needs to get its focus back. They need to understand that they haven't achieved anything yet. And I'm not saying that they're high and mighty, but they did admit that they got a little fat and happy after beating Duke. And I don't think they took Syracuse as seriously as Hubert Davis did, because Hubert's been through it for so long. He understands, hey, I respect them, but I don't think the team 100% did. Now, you go into the NCAA tournament, it's kind of mind-boggling to think that a club might not be ready, but we've seen it so many times. You think Purdue was ready against Fairleigh Dickinson last year? Of course not. When I saw Purdue lose to St. Peter's 2 years ago, were they ready for St. Peter's? Of course not. And then in-game adjustments just weren't happening. It was a challenge to change the course of things when you don't go into a game ready to go. This team needs to get its pregame focus back. If they have that, that will affect so many other things that have not consistently been as strong over the last month as they were during the 10-game win streak. The next thing is closing out opponents. So we're talking about opening games. Now we're talking about closing games, and they have been bad closing games out lately. I'm going to itemize 4 games here, so bear with me. Clemson, as poorly as the Tar Heels started, give them credit for getting that thing to 70-70. However, once it hit 70-70, Carolina turned the ball over on 4 straight possessions. On 3 of them, allowed offensive rebounds for scores by Clemson. That was not the way to close the game. Okay, was that a one-off? Perhaps. Perhaps we can say that was a one-off. Clemson's a good team. Clemson's a club that could get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, no doubt. So, okay, they lost to a good team at home. They weren't really ready to go coming off the Duke game. You could explain that away. However, there's a connection to the way they played at the end of that game. Just a few days later in Coral Gables, they're up 12 with 7 minutes left against Miami. Then they're up 9 with 4:07 left, I think it was. And the Tar Heels turned over the ball 4 times in the last 4 minutes and were 3 for 6 from the free throw line. And Miami had the ball with a chance to tie the game with about 20 seconds left. Again, they didn't close them out. Let's go to Syracuse. Now, they didn't lead Syracuse, but they had the ball down 4 with 2:07 left. They were in position to really put some pressure on Syracuse. And this was after all the Syracuse students were lining up to run on the court. They started gathering with about 3.5 minutes left on the clock. They thought they had the game won. They were right in front of us in the media. I tweeted out a couple of photos and maybe one little clip of the students just gathering there to swarm the court. Everybody in the building thought Syracuse had the game won, but the Tar Heels were in position to do something special. What happens? In the last 2 minutes, 4 turnovers, and they lose the game. And Syracuse left the door open by missing free throws. Carolina couldn't take advantage because of those turnovers. Let's go to Monday night again against Miami. Carolina's up 13, 70-57 with 3:45 left. RJ had gone for what, 40? Place is going crazy. Or I guess it was 39 at 3 that made it 70-57, I think, gave him 39 points. Man, I started writing. I thought it was over. No. The Tar Heels committed 3 turnovers. They had the one 10-second call, 3 turnovers, and they missed 5 straight free throws. And there was Miami with the ball, a chance to take the lead inside the last 25 seconds or whatever it was exactly. This wasn't happening during the 10-game win streak. They were putting away Pittsburgh. They put away NC State. They put away Clemson. They put away Boston College. After Louisville made the push, they put away Louisville, and so on and so on. They put away Florida State, the 10th of that 10-game win streak. They need to get back to that. And I think there's a connection with how they start and how they close. They need to get those 2 things back. If they do, this is a club that absolutely be in Phoenix. No doubt in my mind. The third thing that people need to be concerned about is, are they too reliant on RJ? I posed that question in January during the streak when he was just going nuts, 25, 26, 28 a night, that kind of thing. I thought that there were times where they were maybe a little bit too reliant on him. And then everybody else had their games. Elliot Cadeau had the 18-point game at Miami. Cormac Ryan just had a 3-game stretch where he averaged almost 18 a game. Harrison Ingram had the massive scoring performance against Duke. And Armando regained Armando production form. I think Armando's been really good all year. A couple so-so performances like Monday night, but his floor game has been superb. But sometimes his team kind of goes away. He only had 4 shots against Miami because Carolina was awful entering the ball to the post, and he didn't get himself available as much as he needed to. So my point is that the other 4 have had huge games. So you know it's there. The problem is that sometimes it seems like this club is too reliant on RJ. And Monday night, and I get it because everybody in the building is watching RJ, and there was a belief that every time the ball left his hands, that thing was falling through the cylinder. Players are human too. They love the game too, and they were in awe of what he did as well. I spoke to a few of them afterward, and they said that. But it looked at times like they were standing around watching him, and it wasn't just late. It was in the first half too. He hit that 3 to make it 37-32 right before the end of the half. That was one of those possessions where I don't think anybody else moved. It was just him. And they've got to move away from that. He is a phenomenal player, and he could absolutely carry the load and take them to Phoenix. But he's going to need the other guys to also do what they need to do as well. Can Armando and RJ do it, carrying the bulk of the scoring? They're going to need consistency from Cormac, which is not something he's always shown that is part of his game throughout his college career. They need some more scoring from Harrison. They need to get Harrison for some catch and shoot threes again. I don't think he's had enough of those of late. They need to get him a few more of those because he's really good on the catch and shoot, not that great on the bounce and shoot. Got to get some more of those for him. And they've got to get that lane open so Elliot can drive. Elliot is struggling shooting the ball from outside the lane, although he's hit a couple. I think it was at Miami. And there was another game he hit one. He's got to take him. He's got to hit him every once in a while enough to be somewhat respected. But if the other guys are knocking something down, it's going to open up some driving lanes for Elliot, and that makes him a scorer. He could draw fouls, and he can also dish as well. He can kick out, and he can dish. So they cannot be too reliant on RJ. But right now, it looks like this team, if they lose in the tournament, it's going to look a lot like Monday night. It's going to be RJ taking a ton of shots. It's going to be guys staying around watching. It's going to be Cormac 1 for 9 from 3. It's going to be Harrison, 1 for 5 or 6 from 3, whatever he was. It's going to be Armando not getting enough looks and some silly turnovers. That's what it's going to look like. Monday night is the recipe for this team exiting the NCAA tournament. And it came on a night where RJ Davis scored 42 points. So kudos to RJ, amazing performance. He did enough to get them to the winner's circle, but that isn't going to cut it in March. They're not. I doubt they're going to need him to score 40 in March. If they do and they win, fantastic, because it's all about winning. It doesn't matter how you play in March. It just matters if you win. However, I think we saw the other night, I think we saw absolutely what it will look like when this team gets bumped from the tournament, if they get bumped from the tournament. It's going to carry that kind of look, no doubt about it. So RJ needs a supporting cast to be consistent. They need to know that they're going to get at least this from each guy. They haven't had that as much of late. They've had tremendous flare-ups, but it's been too much like this. So those are 3 things I think Carolina fans should be concerned about going into March. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk about the 3 things that Carolina fans should be optimistic about going into March. We're not just complaining about the team or dogging on the team here. We're going to do the flip side tomorrow as well. Let me know what you guys think. I know there might be some things that I missed in here, but I wanted to narrow it to 3. We could probably add a few more if we wanted to, but no one wants a 40-minute daily drop. So let me know what you think about these three. Let me know what other ones there are. And of course, come back tomorrow and you can let me know about the reasons for optimism as well. Remember, guys, $8.33 a month. That's it. You could become a premium member of our site, 1-year membership. It's the same cost, same price it was almost 10 years ago when I took over this site. If you want to see more of these videos, if you want more of our content, if you want the staff to do more, we need more subscribers. That's the way it works. Anyway, I appreciate y'all stopping by. Thank you.